head of Legislative Service, Mr. Adedeji Adeyemo, took the third reading of the bills before the lawmakers.
I hereby order that a clear copy be forwarded to His Excellency the Governor of the State, Mr. Abeokuta, for his statement as order.
In another development, the Assembly has commiserated with the families of late former lawmaker who represented Ijebu East State constituency between 2003 to 2007, Honorable Adebayo Clement Ifesanwo, as well as the Olowo of Owu, Oba Adegboyega Dosumo, and the Oniwasimi of Wasimi, Oba Babatunde Emmanuel Oshuntogun. The House, however, observed a minute's silence in their honor.
Ogun State Internal Revenue Service has declared that between January and October 2021, the agency has generated a total sum of 29.75 billion naira with plan to generate 56.30 billion naira for the next fiscal year. The chairman of the agency, Mr. Olugbenga Olanleye, stated this while defending the 2022 budget proposal of the board before the state lawmakers at the budget defense held at the Assembly Complex, Okimoson, Abeokuta. Again, correspondent Kolawole Osho was there, and his report is presented in this package.
Planning to generate 56.3 billion naira for the State Internal Revenue Service in the next fiscal year, the chairman of the agency, Mr. Olugbenga Olanleye, ruled out personal income tax, pools betting casino license, capital gain tax, road tax, withholding taxes, tax investigation, and direct assessment as sources of the revenue to finance the proposed budget. He also proposed a total budget expenditure of 2.184 billion naira out of the 349.9 million naira was earmarked for various capital projects, while the remaining 1.834 billion naira would cater for salaries and allowances of the workforce. He explained that the agency was working round the clock to ensure digitization of tax payment with a view to further block all revenue leakages in the period under review.
We are currently doing our tax audit exercise. It has never been done in this state before. Our tax audit that is going on right now, we are auditing over 6,500 companies, and all the companies, they didn't come to our, the farmers didn't come to our office only to collect, they only collected their letters to take to the companies. Right from the comfort of their homes, they will open their portal, see the audit that is allocated to them, they go on to send those companies and only just going there to give letters.
In a related development, the clerk of the House and head of Legislative Service, Mr. Adedeji Adeyemo, has reassured that the 9th legislature will continue to make laws and pass relevant motions into resolutions, especially on policies and programs meant to advance the overall socio-economic development of the state. Adeyemo, who took turn to defend the 2022 budget estimate of the Assembly, added that the institution was poised to carry out oversight functions of ministries, departments, and agencies of government towards ensuring that government's business is conducted according to laid down rules and regulations. The lawmakers also considered the budget estimate of State Ministry of Finance, Office of the Accountant General, House of Assembly Service Commission, and the Ministry of Budget and Planning, among others.
Ogun State Ministry of Agriculture has set machineries in motion to consolidate on its achievements in the promotion of selected key value chains such as rice, cassava, poultry, and fish, amongst others, while it anticipates support to farms and firms from World Bank intervention in the next fiscal year. Hence, the ministry has proposed a budget estimate of 3.78 billion naira as its total expenditure for 2022. The State Commissioner in charge of the ministry, Dr. Adeola Odedino, stated this while appearing before members of the State House of Assembly's Committee on Finance and Appropriation, chaired by Honorable Olakunle Shobokanla, to defend its 2022 estimate of the ministry at the Assembly's complex, Okimoson, Abeokuta. Again, correspondent Kolawole Osho covered the exercise, and details of the report are presented in this package.
Giving the breakdown of the budget proposal Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Adeola Odedino, pointed out that of the total estimate of 3.78 billion naira, 1.25 billion naira would go for personnel, while overhead would go up 100 million naira, just as the sum of 2.429 billion naira was set aside for capital projects. He further reassured that the ministry was committed to ensuring food security in the state, as well as provide raw materials for industrial growth and expansion of infrastructural facilities for socio-economic development. In the same vein, the State Ministry of Forestry has planned to spend a total budget estimate of 1.395 billion naira in the coming year, out of which the sum of 685 million naira will be expended on recurrent. The State Commissioner for Forestry, Engineer Tunji Akinyosi, who reeled out the figures while defending his ministry budget for the next fiscal year, gave a further breakdown to include 685.7 million naira for recurrent, which consisted of 603 million naira for personnel and the remaining 82.6 million naira for overhead, while a total of 709.8 million naira was being earmarked for capital expenses. Akinyosi added that a sum of 205 million naira was proposed as revenue to be generated for next year, stating that the revenue could be actualized through proceeds from sales of farm produce and timbers, issuance of sawmill license, earnings from interstate tolls, as well as rents on government lands and properties. Other agencies that defended their budget estimates are the State Forestry Plantation Project, Agro-Service Corporation, the State Agricultural Development Corporation, the State Agricultural Development Program, the State Cassava Revolution Program, the State Value Chain Development Program, and the State Economic Transformation Project.
The timely completion of some access roads in Abeokuta metropolis inherited by the Prince Dapo Abiodun-led government from the past administration will no doubt aid both human and vehicular movement during the festive period. This was the view of some residents of Adaton Car Wash Asheri Road who have found succor with the completion of the road to an appreciable level. Benga Adekoya's report is presented in this package.
In Ogun State, under the leadership of Prince Dapo Abiodun, is no doubt walking his talk by fulfilling his promise to complete all the inherited projects from the past administration to ameliorate the challenges such abandoned projects had caused the people over time. Adaton Car Wash Ashira Road along Abeokuta Ibadan Road is among other several projects inherited by Prince Dapo Abiodun that is currently receiving the attention of government, as the asphalt laying of one side of the road is already completed while work is going on the other side of the road. Mrs. Omotayo Odewale is a textile dealer at the car wash side of the road, and for her, sales have improved since the asphalting of the road, even as she appreciates the government for preventing health risk attached to the condition of the road in the past.
We have been encountering a whole lot of difficulties before the asphalt laying. We appreciate the governor for coming to our aid.
Onyekachi Chukuma, a motorcycle parts dealer, appreciated President Abiodun for coming to their aid, despite the fact that he was not the one that started the project.
Formerly, the dust used to disturb both our customers and us that is selling here. But thanks to the His Excellency, this time around, one phase of the road has been done, remaining the other part of the lane. So we thank him for the work so far done, and for the remaining one that he will do, and we believe that he will do so in due course.
Another road that is already completed by the current government is IBB Boulevard, linking Okelewo Zone 2 Junction, Kuto NNPC, among others, as beautification of the median is going on as at the time of filing this report. The road, according to some residents, was completed at the appropriate time, as it will aid easy movement during the festive period and add to the aesthetic value of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital.
The Students' Union Government Executive of Tai Sholari College of Education, Omo-Ijebu, has urged the Ogun State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, to disregard the audio tape of Ologundudu, who is reputable for political and pecuniary motivated praise singing with no regard for fact-finding. In a statement jointly signed by the President and General Secretary, Comrade Hassan Olamilekun and Ishaq Solaiman, respectively, the SUG expressed its unwavering confidence in the administration of Ogun State government led by Prince Dapo Abiodun, which has brought tremendous development to all sectors of the state, especially the education sector. While describing Ologundudu's tape as effort in futility, Comrade Hassan-led SUG urged the governor not to be swayed by the hatchet game at this time of political scheming from the oppositions, whose main aim is to distract and bring down the government that has positively changed the face of governance in Ogun State. The statement also noted that the peace, stability and tranquility being currently enjoyed by the college have brought rapid development to the institution, which was recently ranked as the best college of education in Nigeria. The union therefore called on the Ogun State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, to continuously support the College Governing Council led by Prince Adeyemi Adefulu and the Provost, Dr. Adeola.
Self-reliance and enhanced productivity, where over 4,000 youths were awarded scholarship. As an advocate of women and youth empowerment, Mrs. Abiodun applauded the gesture and described it as a way of complementing government's efforts towards extending the dividends of democracy to the masses.
In this season of hope, we would help people see the brighter side of life and enable them to become the best version of themselves, just as Change Agent Foundation International is doing for everyone. I applaud the entire team of CAPI for making this a focal point of your organization's work as we strive for the sustainable economic development in the country.
Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, while making a symbolic presentation to the beneficiaries, pledged her continued support for the development of the organization, as she urged the foundation not to relent in their humanitarian services. Adebola Oshomuji, Ogtv News.
As part of efforts to further improve the living condition of the people and support vulnerable in the society, Ogun State government, in collaboration with a non-governmental organization, NGO Vineyard International Foundation, has offered free medical care and distributed relief materials such as food items, clothing, among others, to residents of Asha, Ibeku, Agburu and Agbon communities in Yewa North local government area. Commissioner for Special Details and Intergovernmental Affairs, Barrister Femi Ogunbanwo, in his address at the event in Ibeku, said the relief materials would cushion the effects of damages caused by herdsmen in the communities early in the year. Ogunbanwo, represented by the Director of State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, Mr. Olufolarin Igi, noted that the partnership drive was embraced and supported by the government to deliver social services and enhance development of the state.
The state government actually have supported the people already, and still we are awaiting response from the National Emergency Management Agency also to complement the state government efforts in provide support to the people. That is the reason, the major reason we are here.
The founder, Vineyard International Foundation, Mrs. Titilola Kateno, said the organization decided to collaborate with the state government in order to put smile on the faces of the people in distress, especially after herdsmen attack. Speaking, the Baale of Asha, Chief Musiliu Ulukoku, appreciated the government and the NGO for their swift action and the recognition given to his people, urging the government to provide more security around their communities to ensure safety. Ogun State government has cancelled this month's environmental sanitation exercise, which falls on Saturday, 25th December, the Xmas Day. A statement signed by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Environment, Engineer Razak Olabode Ojetola, therefore wishes all residents and visitors to the state a peaceful and modest celebration. Ojetola, however, stressed the need for all to celebrate in a clean and tidy environment and give their waste, which are expected to be more during this festive period, to private sector participant PSP assigned to their areas for proper disposal. Ojetola also used the opportunity to inform residents that all environmental personnel and waste managers will also be on duty during the festive holidays, while all government waste disposal vehicles and equipment will also be deployed throughout the nooks and crannies of the state for a cleaner environment. He concluded by wishing all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2022 and a cleaner, healthier and a safer Ogun State next year and beyond. The annual crossover services held by religious organizations across the country is under threat as the Boss Mustafa-led Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 declared that indoor religious gatherings should be limited to 50% with full compliance to public health measures. This was contained in a statement signed by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, which was made available to journalists on Thursday in Abuja. The PSC explained that there has been reduced compliance to public health social measures, which has led to increased COVID-19 cases in the country. The committee, however, added that it may be forced to introduce more restrictions should there be an increase in cases. Barely a day after the Nigerian Center for Disease Control (NCDC) confirmed the country was now in the fourth wave of COVID-19 with over 500% increase in infections across the country, Nigeria recorded 2,123 new COVID-19 infections on Tuesday, its highest ever daily infection since the outbreak of the virus in February 2020. Wednesday's figure released by NCDC was 755, higher than the 1,368 infections recorded on Tuesday. It was the first time Nigeria was experiencing a ballooning of its daily difference in new infections and a sharp increase in the number of fatalities as festive activities heightened across the country. According to the NCDC figures, Lagos State, which remains the country's epicenter of the infection, led the new infections table with 1,552 cases. It was followed by the FCT with 197 cases and Edo with 155 infections. With the latest figure, the number of active COVID-19 cases in Nigeria stood at 12,547. This shows an increase of 3,039 when compared with the 9,508 active cases previously. As many friends and families consider whether to celebrate Christmas together, World Health Organization (WHO) issued a reminder that anyone who ignores COVID-19 is perpetuating it. WHO Regional Director for the Eastern Mediterranean region, Ahmed Al-Mahandri, in his message said the pandemic was far from over. Citing the latest modeling data, Al-Mahandri said that 22 countries and territories in the region will probably see more than 70 million cases and over 314,000 deaths by the end of the year. In spite of the holiday season, failure to apply the established public health and social measures could cause alarming surges in the number of COVID-19 cases and related deaths, he said. 30 persons from 6 local government areas of Bauchi State have tested positive to Lassa fever in what seems a resurgence of the disease in the state. The Executive Chairman, Bauchi State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Rilwan Mohammed, disclosed this while interacting with journalists on the current situation of the disease and other issues of primary health care services held at the Emergency Operations Center in Bauchi. According to him, the 30 persons whose results were positive were part of those samples taken across the state. Dr. Mohammed informed that the victims were from Bauchi, Bogoro, Ganjua, Kadafi, Taufa Balewa, and Toro local government areas in the Bauchi South and Central zones of the state, while attributing the resurgence of the disease to the ongoing harvesting of farm produce. The chairman informed that between January and December this year, a total of 153 probable cases of Lassa fever were recorded in the state. According to Mohammed, out of this figure, 136 were randomly tested, with 8 people confirmed dead. A Nigerian professor of medical chemistry and pharmacology with the University of Maryland, Baltimore, United States of America, Professor Vincent Tunja, is set to produce a drug for prostate and breast cancer. The professor made a technical presentation of his discovery before Governor Ben Ayade and members of the Cross River Executive Council at the State ESCO Chamber in Calabar. In the presentation for both prostate and breast cancers, Professor Unja revealed that the drug for prostate cancer will be available in the next 2 years. The pharmacology expert emphasized that Nigerians can achieve anything if given the right environment and infrastructure.
You don't really need to be from the moon, to discover all this. The reason why I'm able, to make all these contributions is because of, the environment, the infrastructure. If everything goes well as we believe, we should actually have an approved drug within the next 2 years.
Governor Ben Ayade said that the state government will give the professor, who is an indigene of the state, all the required support to achieve his dream of 30 years hard work.
So Vincent, leading a team of black and white people in a research towards discovering a drug that can be an effective control for cancer. By the time galisterone becomes a drug available in the pharmacy for use, people should remember that indeed the journey started in Ikom, Cross River State, Nigeria, in Africa.
Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, Malam Shehu Ilela, has said that the Commission will establish Institute for Broadcast Policy and Regulations in 2022. Ilela, who made the disclosure at the news conference on Thursday in Abuja, said that the establishment of the institute will enhance professionalism in the broadcast industry. He said that the Commission had initiated a partnership with National University Commission, NUC, and National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, for broadcast curricular accreditation at the nation's tertiary institutions. Ilela reiterated the need for professionalism in broadcasting while identifying the harm fake news, hate speech, and unprofessional broadcasts have caused the society. The Defense Headquarters on Thursday said troops of Operation Willstroke in Benue, Nasarawa, and Taraba states arrested 16 migrant bandits from the Niger Republic. It also said the bandits were arrested in different operations across the north-central region of the country. Bernard Onyoku, the Acting Director, Defense Media Operations Brigadier General, made this known while providing an update on military operations across Nigeria between December 9 and 23 in Abuja. Onyoku explained that troops executed different operations at Tine None village in Umbati Council Ward and Inse Yobe Town in Okum local government area, Ojapo community, and Edu Moga Forest in Umpopu local government area, and along Makude Kule Road in Benue. According to him, other operations were executed at Ugia Forest in Toto local government area of Nasarawa State during the period with commendable results. Several structures and goods amounting to millions of naira have been destroyed by a midnight fire that gutted a section of the popular Muda Lawal foodstuff market in Bauchi. Report has it that the fire started very late in the night of Wednesday and burnt till the early hours of Thursday, consuming properties in a section of the market before it was put out by the combined efforts of firefighters and other people around. Although the cause of the fire was yet to be ascertained, eyewitnesses say that it started from one of the stores stocked with raw food items when electricity supply was restored. Officials of the market confirmed that they are still counting their losses. Time for business news with Okpeyemi Adewumi after this short break.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. The federal government plans to introduce digital token comprising 16 alphabets and numbers to replace the current 11-digit national identity number effective January 2022. It has been learned. As such, the federal government plans to make illegal and a punishable offense any company or agency found verifying the 11-digit national identity number. It was disclosed in a booklet by the National Identity Management Commission entitled Facts About NIN Tokenization. According to the booklet, companies and agencies are allowed to only store and verify virtual NIN on DigiToken, which is a set of 16 alphanumeric characters issued exclusively by an ID holder with NIN. The booklet reads in part, the virtual NIN is issued by an ID holder who has onboarded the NIMC mobile application or generated via the USSD service. The DigiToken is issued to a specific verification entity and may be only verified by that entity and no one else. It was disclosed that the VNIN is non-transferable and expires after 72 hours. It was further revealed that the minors could generate a virtual NIN from their parent profile on the NIMC application. The federal government has approved the setting up of a $73 million intervention fund for irrigation to boost the sugar backward integration program. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Niyi Adebayo, disclosed this to journalists in Abuja. The minister, who was speaking after the signing of an agreement between the government and the operators of the sugar backward integration program at the State House, said the goal is to support the irrigation program for 10,000 hectares of sugarcane plantation in the country. The minister said the funding for the program would come from the Central Bank of Nigeria, saying the Central Bank of Nigeria is also involved in the provision of required funding for the project as well. Adebayo revealed that the aim of the program is to increase Nigerian sugar yield in line with its quest of becoming self-sufficient in sugar production. The federal government again has blamed the widespread epileptic power supply in the country on the neglect by past administrations. Minister of Power Abubakar Liu disclosed this on Thursday at the end of the extraordinary meeting of the Federal Executive Council, presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Aliyu, who presented 16 memos which were all approved by the Council, said the Buhari regime has done more than its predecessor to ensure that Nigerians experience improved electric power supply. According to him, the government is doing a lot to remedy the situation with heavy investments in the sector, which is said had manifested in fewer grid collapses in the past few years. While noting that the federal government has ordered new power equipment, the minister assured Nigerians that they will soon see the outcome of the ongoing investments. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited announced that it earned 2.56 trillion naira revenue from the sale of white products, that is petrol, kerosene and diesel, in about 13 months. It also announced that 203.73 billion naira was made on the sale of white products in the month of July 2021 through its downstream subsidiary, the Petroleum Products Marketing Company. It said in a statement issued in Abuja that the figures were contained in the July 2021 NNPC monthly financial and operations reports. The reports revealed that the total revenue generated from the sales of white products for the period July 2020 to July 2021 stood at over 2.563 trillion naira, where premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, contributed about 99.67% of the total sales. And finally, the amount spent on subsidizing premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, rose to 1.16 trillion naira between January and November this year. The latest data from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited showed. The data also revealed that NNPC's remittance to the Federation's Account Allocation Committee in the 11-month period dropped by 1.78 trillion naira. In its report on funding performance between January and November 2021, the oil firm said it had maintained petrol subsidies since the beginning of the year. In the report, the NNPC referred to its subsidy spending as under recovery, as it had repeatedly stated that it had no authorization by the Federal Assembly to pay subsidy. And that brings us to the end of business news. Thank you for staying with us. It's back to Yabo.
Thanks, Opeyemi. And now to foreign